Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. You know, the one thing that I took away from this episode, nothing else. One thing I took away from this episode is that this episode was 100% filler. Damn near nothing happened. And I sit there and say damn near nothing happened because the only thing that really actually happened as far as moving the storyline forward by any measure was Finn and Liz. You know, the couple that practically 90% of the world hates. Um, and they realize that life is too short. Point blank period. They realize that life is too short after what happened. They start to talk about regrets and forgiveness and just kind of moving forward. They kiss, and then they act like a bunch of weird, awkward teenagers. Like, I felt like I was getting secondhand embarrassment just watching it. Um, okay, we got Jocelyn didn't like what Esme was doing as far as getting close to Spencer. And so after she tells Spencer that, Trina needs you and her dad, Curtis, and everything like that, they have a one-on-one talk. And she pretty much kind of puts on notice as far as, you getting too close to Trina, you're getting too close to Spencer, and also all the awful things that she's done. Dex comes in after giving updates to Sonny about what's going on. And at one point she does talk. She does bring up Ryan Chamberlain. Ryan Chamberlain. I can't talk right now. Ryan, and Heather. Snitch is saying that she's a psychopath and everything. This is after she brings up, oh well, which is kind of odd because she says to Esme, well, when somebody hurts me, I hurt them back. It's kind of like a family thing. And I'm like, wait, you're saying that like, oh, this is a Sunny thing or whatever. The way I took it, and it could have been a Carly thing, but the way I took it, or maybe, I take that back because it was Esme the one that was like, oh, you talking about your mobster stepfather or something like that. And that's the way I was meant to take it. Like you hurt someone, they hurt you back, but that could also have been a Carly thing as well. It doesn't really go anywhere except for the fact that she thinks that Esme, the old Esme is still there and maybe she's faking it or whatever. I don't believe she's faking at this point. Now, I could just be naive, but I don't think that she's faking it. I think she does actually like Spencer. And, Jocelyn was coming at her pretty hard. I think if anybody came at her the same way that Jocelyn did, she would react the same way. That's just what I imagine. Now, yesterday, I think in the chat we were talking about Fabiana. And I don't know, maybe she's coming down with a cold or laryngitis or something like that. Today was a lot better. Today was a lot better than yesterday. Yesterday I was like, wow. Maybe you should have just took a sick day. I give it to her. She's a trooper. I'm just saying. Trina's freaking out. Portia's not there trying to do everything she can to sit there and kind of keep her from spiraling out. And eventually Spencer does come in. And for a little bit, she is actually happy that Spencer's there. There's one point where eventually Stella and Hat Daddy's there. They get to the hospital. They weren't really doing too much before that, so I'm not even going to bother to mention it. Mm-hmm. But they do get to the hospital, and they want to know what's going on. They want updates and stuff like that. And Trina's like, oh, you work at the hospital. Can you get an update? And Spencer's like, hey, listen, my family owns this place pretty much. So I could sit there and pull some strings. And, Portia snaps at him. And I'm like, it really wasn't that big of a deal. Your daughter literally just asked you to do the same thing that he did. So I don't really understand that. You know me. It's very rare to actually sit there and defend him. When I do, there is damn well good reason for that. But Nina comes there and she makes everyone feel okay. She talks about a story with Curtis about, just his love for his family. Now, the one thing, okay, I guess there was little nuggets here and there. When Nina was at the hotel, she went to go sit there and see was Sonny and Anna okay. Found that Curtis is in the hospital, and also found out that somebody took a shot at either Sonny or Anna. Now, my whole thing is like, okay, it could have been Sonny, it could have been Anna, right? But that's today. What about 3 years later on? And remember, Curtis just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. It's one of those things where it's like, it's kind of a red flag from the universe being like, are you sure you want to sit there and be with this guy? Are you sure about that? Your friend's in the hospital just because he just happened to be in the area where Sonny's at. No? Okay. No, what they sit there and say, unless it hits close to home, like Sam with Danny, she's not going to sit there and take it seriously. The whole time you just have Anna sitting there grilling Sonny about, oh, did somebody take a shot at you? What's going on? I mean, I know we don't sit there and ask about your business, but today you feel the need to ask about his business because why? I mean, like you said, the shooter could have been coming after you. You sitting there grilling him for like, I don't know, what, 40, 30 something minutes wasn't really doing too much of anything. So I really don't understand what was the point of you doing that. The Ducks didn't really do too much. He just gave updates and kind of followed Jocelyn around. Um, and that's when Jocelyn's like, oh, I think that, though Esme's in there, something like that, or she thinks that she's still the old Esme. And it was a point where after she left and she told Dex, hey, listen, just give Trina my love, Esme decides to sit there and just make things weird and awkward. So the family sit there worried, and her little ass comes over there is like, hey, listen, I just want to sit there and see how you're doing. I hope everything's okay with you and your dad. Esme, I get that you don't know, I get that you don't have your old memories, but people did sit there and tell you that you did hurt this girl. Why even going 6 feet near her is just beyond me. Um, And of course, she's like, oh, well, I'm about to sit there and tuck in A's. Is there anything you want me to sit there and say? Come on, boo. What are you doing? I mean, at this point, it's just obvious. And Spencer said, he pretty much practically said, go home. What are you doing here? And go home. She's going to do more of that. She is going to do more of that, I guarantee you. And it's going to be so uncomfortable. And, yeah, so uncomfortable. After looking at my notes, I was like, oh, yeah, yesterday's notes. I'm like, not really that much happened in this episode. Um, yeah, I feel like that's about it. This episode is filler. Long story short, this episode is filler. You can take it or leave it, and it's it is what it is. Um, I can't really think of anything else that went on happening. So, but if I did miss anything, come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll sit there and go over whatever it is that I missed. I can tell you right now. Listen, I watch all four soap operas. I can tell you right now that this one is already at the bottom. Okay, it's already at the bottom. And it's not like it was a bad episode. It wasn't like, oh my goodness, this is so stupid. And that was so stupid because then I can actually have more material. This one was just, I feel like more is going to happen tomorrow than today, or at the very least, Miss Wu's going to be there, so that's always interesting. Also, I'm pretty sure Felicia is in Pine Valley right now. I saw something on the door that said like Jackson something. So I guess for people that are like AMC, your time is here, or whatever that's worth. Um, I will sit there and say this before I go. Samuel made a really good point yesterday as far as like what's the point of them actually doing something in Pine Valley if they're not going to sit there and bring some characters over to the show. Just food for thought. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going to go. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.